Mhm. Hello, everybody. It's Bridgett Battles here, author of Beauty in Her Battle and Style Strategist. It's Thursday night. You know what it is. On Thursday nights, another episode of Coffee with Bridgett. So I certainly hope that you have your coffee cup tonight. And I certainly hope that you're ready for another week of great conversation, great dialogue, meet another one of my amazing guests. And we will definitely leave you with some tips and strategies to help you along the way. So listen, you know, I love having guests on here. I love having this conversation, this dialogue. So tonight, I'm super happy to have another one who has become one of my good friends. And I was actually on her show twice. Her show is called It's the Round Table, and we were kind of something like The View, where we discuss current topics. So can you help me welcome Sharifah Hardie to Coffee with Bridgett? Hey, girlfriend.
Yeah, hey, Bridget, how are you? Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, super excited.
My necklace. I feel like my necklace is lopsided. You know, I got to fix my necklace because I'm looking at myself, and I'm a whole mess right here trying to fix this necklace. Needless to say, I'm glad you're here with me tonight. I made it worse. I'm glad you're here on Coffee with Bridgett. How are you?
I am excited to be here with you. I mean, this is a pleasure. It's not often that I have the ability to sit on this side of the seat. Usually, I'm the one asking the questions and doing the interviews, but I'm honored to be here with you. From the first time we met, I was like, you know what? I want to know more about her. I saw the shoes, I saw the outfits, and I saw the hair, and I was like, yes. And then when I started reading and I picked up your book, I was like, okay, I've been using some of the tips, Beauty in Her Battle, some of the fashion tips you provide. I was like, okay, one day I'm going to be as professional as Bridgett.
You're already there, Louise. You're already there. So, Sharifah, let's talk. So now you live in California. For those of you who are following me, who are watching me, you know, I'm on East Coast time and Sharifah is in California. So how are you making out with the pandemic and COVID-19?
It's different. You know, I mean, it's definitely different. But being that I've been self-employed, working from home for some time, it was a lot easier for me to make the transition than for other people. For some people, it was like culture shock because they're used to going out to work, they're used to the commute, they're used to, you know, not being stuck in the house. The only time I really notice that there is a pandemic is when I have to leave the house, when I go to the grocery store, and I always run back to the house because I always forget my mask. So it's like that's what really when I realized it is not the normal.
You so I'm telling you what I did the other day, and which is so crazy. So, I I had to run out for an errand, and I don't know why I put on all this makeup and lipstick to put a mask on. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. And then when I got in the car, I was like, why did you just waste your time doing that? Okay.
Right.
Nobody's gonna see you. And you get the inside of your mask dirty, so whatever. But I'm glad that you're well. And I'm glad that you are able to navigate and really, still continue on with your flow. Especially now because a lot of entrepreneurs, they're having to pivot and to shift and really figure out, how to really make this new normal work to keep their business afloat. And so you have this going on, and then we have the social injustice going on. I mean, it's like we got a 2-for-1 with this.
Yes.
So now, because we both are, African American, and we both Black.
Yeah.
And I know how I felt, when I saw, the George Floyd video. I know how I felt when I saw the police brutality. And I know what I have continued to do in order to put me in the right frame of mind to be able to have a great conversation around that. So tell me, how are you feeling, and how are you really navigating that space? Because, since you are a talk show host as well, like, how are you dealing with this?
Wow, that's a deep question that goes in so many different directions, because every time I feel like I got a hold on it, a handle on it, something else changes, something else happens. And I think what most people don't understand or realize with the civil unrest is that people were already frustrated, right? You have human beings who you have literally put in prisons, in their homes. They can't leave. They can't go anywhere. They can't do whatever they wanted to do. People are not meant to be caged. We get out, we socialize. I live in Long Beach. I can walk to the beach, but the beaches are closed. So the things that we're used to in our world have changed. So people become very restless. And then on top of that, you take a look at the economy. When you have millions of people who have lost their jobs. So now, not only are you telling me I'm not allowed to go anywhere, right, but I don't have any money. Everything that I knew to be true, everything that I believed, is now gone. So you have a lot of people who are just very, very frustrated. So you have COVID, then you have civil unrest, and then you throw on top of that an election year, right? So it's just putting gas and gas and gas and gas on this fire. And so for me, one of the things that I was able to do was start another talk show. So now I host 3 talk shows in addition to the
like
one
1,
talk.
2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2,
Like,
3. Okay.
yes. And the reason I decided to do the third talk show was because, when I initially started the Roundtable Talk Show, the reason I started it was because I had just finished my run for Long Beach City Council. And I said they wouldn't give me city council, so I took the roundtable. But I am going to have a place where I can have a platform to have a voice to say whatever it is that I want to say. So I invited guests, 5 guests per show, to sit down and to discuss current events and what's going on in the world. And so no matter who we are, whether we're white, Black, Asian, Hispanic, green, purple, it didn't matter. Everyone in the world somehow, some way was affected by COVID-19. Initially in March, the question was, are you affected by COVID-19? Is your business affected by COVID-19? By around May, the question turned into, how have you been affected by COVID-19? Or how has your business been affected by COVID-19? Because everyone was affected by COVID-19, whether it's directly or indirectly, because there are some businesses that may not have been affected by COVID-19, but they lost money because their customers or their potential clients were affected by COVID-19. So that's customers who didn't have any money, clients who couldn't pay. So now this business, like my business, what I do, that actually earns my money is marketing. I specialize in online marketing, getting your message out, saturating the internet, SEO, SEM. But now I have a lot of companies who are not paying for marketing because they're closing their doors, they're laying off people. So people wouldn't think, okay, because you're a business consultant who does marketing, you wouldn't be affected. Okay, but my customers and my potential clients are affected. So again, we're dealing with COVID-19. We're dealing with the economy. We're dealing with civil unrest. We're dealing with election year. So people are really just frustrated. But on the Roundtable Talk Show, I always have guests who are authors and entertainers and singers and entrepreneurs and business owners. And I thought it would be unfair of me to ask them questions about civil unrest because I was always taught you don't discuss religion and politics in mixed company. And so I could have somebody like a Bridgett Battles on the show, and I don't want to be like, well, Bridgett, what do you think of Black Lives Matter? Because really what you want to talk about is your book. And you, because you're so wonderful and generous and authentic, you would answer that question. But it may be another person who's like, I just want to talk about my book. I don't want to get into, whether or not Black Lives Matter, if they matter, they don't matter. And so I didn't want to put people who just gave me the honor and the privilege of giving me their time, their resources, and their information in an awkward position. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create a third show, which is face-to-face talk show, which I host Wednesdays at 10 a.m. And this show, the name Face to Face, had two purposes. Number one, I wanted to sit down and have a face-to-face conversation.
Somebody put that in the comment, face to face, because you're saying a lot that I got to unpack because my wheels are going right now. So I have plenty of things to add in. So somebody put that in the comment section for me, face to face. Okay.
I'm gonna put it in the comment section for you. So okay. Face to face. The reason that I came up with that name was because two reasons. I wanted to have face-to-face conversations. I want to sit down and say, let's talk about this. Let's open up the dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Let's answer those deep, questions, those uncomfortable questions, especially in regards to race that we normally wouldn't have. So we have a whole host of different races, white people, Black people, Hispanic people. It's just been very interesting. But the other, I had to go old school back in the day. I don't know if you remember this, Bridgett, but back in the day when somebody was talking about you, what you say? Say it to my face.
Yes.
Don't say that to my face.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, this is a face-to-face talk show. And it was so interesting because yesterday we discussed the whole issue with Nick Cannon, because usually it's not Black people. It's not our people that get fired for racist statements. And so now you have a Black guy who lost his job at Viacom because they said he was making anti-Semitic statements. So we spent an hour. My host is Paul Faust. He's a Jewish guy in New York. And so I love Paul, white guy, but he's open to learn. And his belief is that we have more in common than different. So we sit down with guests and discuss, okay, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And so we discussed the whole Nick Cannon thing yesterday on the show. It was very interesting.
Yeah, so you said a lot of things I want to unpack. So the first thing I want to talk about this. So I love the face-to-face concept. I think that is important. I especially think that having uncomfortable conversations now are necessary. Mm-hmm. These conversations have to be ongoing. They can't be a one and done because we have to, really discuss not just our current situation, but we have so many things that have happened, in years past, and everything is being highlighted right now. So right now, at this point, you know what? Nothing is off limits. At this point, you have to be able to really, stand up, have this conversation, and be okay with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because if you are not okay with being uncomfortable, we can't grow past where we are. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. And then the second thing I want to talk about is that, I think that, from your entrepreneurial journey, what I'm hearing so far is that not only are you committed to what you do, but you're committed to the cause. And so when people are and entrepreneurs, especially when we become so passionate about what we do, it's always tied to a story. It's tied to something personal that has happened in our lives that has made us so committed that we don't want anybody else to feel the way we felt. We don't want anybody else to go through the channels that we've gone through. We want to be that person to show you, listen, hey, look at me. I'm the poster child for this. I'm the one who has gone through what you're going through. So listen to my story. So what is it about you and your story that has committed you to this lane of entrepreneurialism?
Well, the only way I can say it is God. It's nothing but God. It can only be God. And I always tell people my funny story, at least I consider it funny, is this journey started due to an argument with God. And people were like, you were
Wow.
arguing with God. I was like, God and I was having this argument, right? And it was because God was telling me, Sharifah, I want you to help the people. And I was like, no, I
So
don't want to
God
help
told
the
you, I
people.
want you to help the people. And you
Yes.
were like, no, God.
No,
Okay.
because them people, they don't even like me. They're not trying to be nice to me. They're not trying to work with me. And then I
What
always
does
tell
God, the people don't even like me?
they don't like me. The people know because you try to help the people, and sometimes the people are their worst enemy. The people are the ones who are fighting you when you try to help them. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And God was like, help the people. And I said, I am gonna go get me a job. And God said, help the people. And so I went and got a job, and I was laid off 8 times. And yes,
Anytime.
yeah, I knew that was gonna get your attention. You was looking down, you heard 8, you was like, wait a minute, what she say? Yes, I was laid off 8 times. And why I know all of this was God, because there are a few times where it would be 6 months to the day I would get this new job. 6 months later, I would be laid off. And God would say, Sharifah, help the people. And I would be like, no, because I love the security of having a job. I tell people nothing says I love you like direct deposit. Like direct deposit? Ooh, Bridget, you know about that? That's my business. That's my
Listen,
thing
I
right there.
roll over every morning and look at what I made, okay? Oh,
So I didn't want to jump out there into your world just yet. But after a while, when God was like, I don't know what part of I am God do you not understand? You know, at some point, every knee will bend and every head will bow. And so, sometime around the 6th or 7th time, I said, I hear and I obey. What is it you would like me to do, Lord? Then
wow.
all of a sudden, I saw doors and opportunities began to open. And now I have committed my life to being able to help people, because this all started in 1994. I had my daughter when I was 18 years old in 94, and she was this precious little bundle. And this, I loved her so much, and I didn't want to miss her first steps, her first words, anything about her. And so I wanted to be a stay at home mom. And I knew then in 1994 that the internet was the only way for me to stay at home with my daughter and for me to gain, to make a living and earn an income. And so I built a website. And so from 1994 to this day, right now, there's never been a point in time where I haven't been online. But when I started building my websites and marketing my websites, people said, Sharifah, I want you to help me. And I had so many people that were asking Sharifah. I launched my first blog talk radio show in 2009, and it was called Ask Sharifah Radio, because people were asking so many questions. How do you get to the top of Google? What's search engine optimization? How do you build a good website? How do you get traffic to it? What are, social media marketing? And so then I could just turn around and say, well, you know what? If you tune in to Ask Sharifah Radio, I'm going to talk about that. So
Right.
I did it for years, and now I just focus on my talk shows.
Wow. 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 So I'm still stuck on the laid off 8 times, because
8 times.
that takes another level of consistency. That takes another level of strength. And that takes determination beyond just having a dream. Because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we can get caught up in that phase of, I have a great idea, I've got a great logo, and I want to put it out. And then you get frustrated if nobody's supporting your business.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I subscribe to, and that is this, I subscribe to the fact that you should really be clear on your ideal client. You should be clear on the services or that you provide. You should be clear on the product that you provide before you get a website and before you get a logo, because you really don't have a business until you have your strategy down. Because you can have all the pretty things, but if you're not generating a profit and you're not making an impact, you really don't have a business. So hearing you say that, it demonstrates so much on so many different levels. Not only were you making an impact, but you were fulfilling your passion. Because I believe that when passion and purpose come together, not only is impact made, but there is also a place where revenue finds you. I'm a consistent believer of that. So now fast forward, you have these 3 talk shows, okay? Because as creatives and entrepreneurs, we can have tons of ideas. I know, like me, sometimes I can have 100 ideas. I didn't want to put all 100 of them out at one time.
Yeah.
Even though that is not just the right
Yeah.
way to do it. You know, when you get this light bulb moment, you're like, yes, this is good. This is good.
Right.
And because you're so excited about it, you just want to share. It may not necessarily be the time to do that, but you know, that's how we are as entrepreneurs. So what gives you that sense of, let's frame it this way. Give me one story about the good, one story about the bad, and one story about the ugly.
About the good, the bad, and the ugly in regards to
entrepreneurship.
The good, the bad, and the ugly as far as entrepreneurship. The good is the freedom, right? I'm a free spirit. Like I said, I live in Long Beach. I walk to the beach. I like freedom. I like space. I like being able to do what I want to do. You know, I always say I go where spirit says go. You know, that is really what I live by. And so I love the freedom as an entrepreneur of being able to set my own schedule, determine when I do a talk show, not have to clock in, clock out, you know, lunch, breaks, all that kind of stuff. So I love the freedom of being an entrepreneur. I think that is the good part. The bad part for me is that one of the things I found in doing this for almost 30 years
wait. You've been doing this for how long?
Well, it's been 26 years since 1994.
Right. It just sounded different when you said it that way.
Well, almost 30, you know what I mean? Another 4 years, and I've been doing this for 30 years, you know? But the bad is and this is another story that I tell people, is that when I first started out in the consulting aspect of what I was doing, I would believe what people told me. Like if you came to me, Bridgett, and you said, Sharifah, I work for a hospital, but I really want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own business. I hate my boss. I hate my coworkers. I hate my commute. I really want to do this. I would really believe that people would be willing to make that change.
I'm shaking my head like I'm in church because I'm
No, but that isn't what I found is that 20 years later, the same people who hated their boss, hated their coworkers, hated their commute, were making $10 an hour, are still at that job because they don't have the tenacity, they don't have the courage to go out and become an entrepreneur. So now one of the things that I've learned so that I can avoid, you know, wasting my time and my energy, because as an entrepreneur, I'm really good now at setting boundaries. I set my business hours, I have certain guidelines. But the bad part is when people come to me and they give me these stories of what they're going to do and they go back to their lives. Like that to me is the most frustrating aspect of it. The ugly to me, I would say, let's say, that's an interesting question. I love what I do, Bridgett. I love what I do. I can get up on a roundtable talk show and speak with 5 people per day. How many people meet 5 new people per day, especially in a quarantine? How many people meet 5 new people a day, make 5 new friends a day, do networking with 5 people per day? That's 25 people a week. That's 100 people a month. That's why, you know, I love what I do. I'm casual, I'm fun, but there are not to toot my own horn too much, but there are not that many people who are doing what I'm doing. And so I love to just help people. You know, anybody who wants to start a video show or a talk show or a podcast or whatever business it is, that to me, you know, because I don't look at any part as ugly in my life. I couldn't even find the ugly because I wouldn't know what it was looking for. So I think I answered that question, but I really want to go back to something that you said, Bridgett, if I may, for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned, I think you gave us gold. And one of the things I learned as a talk show host is people sometimes don't realize when they're giving you gold. They're just talking and they're giving their experience. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's go back, because some people who aren't as aware may have missed the gold. And when the gold you were talking about is the strategy. Most people are absolutely correct. They just like, oh, I have this idea, I want to go do it, and they kind of jump out there and do it. You got to have a strategy, because if you do not, what is it? Whoever fails to plans to fail, right? So if you want to be successful, you have to have a strategy, have a business plan, really have an idea, a written idea of what you want to do before you go into it. So I agree with you 1,000%. That is one of the most important things. I think that is the number one reason why businesses fail. But I'm gonna give you the number two reason why businesses fail that most people don't think of is people do not understand that your website is nothing more than an electronic business card. That's what it is.
Absolutely. And let me add to that. Not only is your website an electronic business card, but also whenever you have client meetings or you are meeting with someone that you want to work with, it is very important that you show up virtually like you would in person. You should show up with your deliverables. You should show up with showing how they need you and why they need you. You should show up showing them that you have the answer to their problem. So I agree with you 10,000% on that.
Yes. And you know how many, I mean, it seems so easy. So like when you say it, it's so simple, but people do not do it. I guarantee you they don't do it. And what happens is like, I don't know where my business cards, right? I got all my lovely business cards. I wouldn't take my business cards and just sit them on the shelf, right? That's what people do all the time with their websites. They built the website, they have built the business, but what they don't do is pass it out. They don't talk to people about their business. I've had so many people who come to me and go, Sharifah, I don't understand social media marketing. I haven't, received any clients. Social media marketing does not work. And I tell people all the time, I get 99% of my clients from social media. The last 1% I get from referrals.
Right there, because wait a minute. So I can say it in the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, Sharifah says she get 99% of her clients through social media. So if you are a business owner and you are not utilizing free social media, you are leaving money on the table. All right. I'm sorry. I had to put that in there.
No, yeah, that's good. That was good. I just wanted to add that last part. So 99% through social media, but the last 1% comes from referrals, right? So that's that whole, everything is either social media or referrals. I do very little advertising. I do really little marketing. I just network a lot. I do networking. And then people say, and I'll say, okay, well, if that's the way you feel that you're not making customers or clients from your social media, let me see it. And so I go to their social media and they have 50 likes. And I'm like, I don't understand how you expect people to take advantage of the services that you have and utilize them if you have no followers. And they're like, I know that's the problem. I'm like, okay, how many people per day have you introduced to your social media? Is your social media link in your email signature? Do you post on your social media? I have gone to plenty of people's social media accounts and their last post was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 5 months ago. How is it that you expect people to start a conversation with you when you only post 4 times a year, right?
Wow. That's good.
When you say it, it makes sense, but people don't take these things into account. And then you look at their social media, which they post 4 times a year, and there is absolutely no mention of their business. So you want people to become a client of yours when the last time you posted was 4 months ago, and the only thing you did was post a rainbow because you thought it was pretty. You know what I mean? Like, you are the business. You are the one who is giving the message. And so then what they say to me is, but Sharifah, I can't find anything interesting to post. So I asked the question because I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. And so what you're telling me is that you don't find anything interesting about your business.
That's good. That's good. And so content is key. Content is key, and call to action is key. And I had to learn that. And so you want to make sure that when you are posting, even if it's personal posts, you still want to make sure that you are giving people substance. And you want to make sure that it's something worthwhile reading. Real quick, I just want to say hi to her. Hey, Erica. Hey, Ann Canada. Listen, I guess your team is on here. Chandra Gore. Yes.
That's my PR lady right there.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Terry. Hey, Mary. Hey, Shaquilla. Thank y'all for joining us. Please like and share. If you have any entrepreneurship questions, type them in the comments. Yes, type them in the comments because we will definitely be answering all of your social media questions. Yeah. That was good.
I gave you a lot. I gave you a lot, and people don't understand that. So they're like, I don't.
You just gave somebody a whole social media strategy for free right here.
Yeah, but see, that's why we come to your show. And that's why I love doing my shows, because I tell people, if you tune in and you listen, you can learn something and you can get information for free. And that's why I do the shows. So, where else? I mean, if I was at your office, if this wasn't COVID-19, if I'm in Philadelphia doing some shoe shopping, I came to your office, I couldn't be like, oh, Bridgett, can you tell me how you made all your money? How you became so successful? People don't do that. You don't ask these kind of questions. But then when you have entrepreneurs and CEOs who say, you know what, Sharifah, I want to help people. I want to help you. I'll come on your shows and tell people what I've done that's worked. That's why I love what I do.
Yes. And you know what? So one of the things that I pride myself in, I think I can speak for you also, and that is this: each time we show up as our authentic self.
Yes.
And when you show up as your authentic self, that alone helps people. And I feel like, especially even as a business owner, and even when I share my story or I share what I'm doing, like this is my real life.
Yeah.
The only difference is I'm just putting it out there. And I know when I put it out there, that means that other people, I've invited them into my life.
Yeah.
So this is my real life.
Yes.
And so I think that's key, showing other people that, okay, listen, I did it. And now you can do whatever your dreams, goal, vision, even if you don't want to be an entrepreneurship. A lot of the strategies and skills that we share are things that can be applied in your own personal life, because you have to manage your personal life like you manage a business.
Yes.
Especially given this current climate that we're in. You have those. So that was good. Somebody put that in the comments for me. Manage your personal life like you are running a business, because if you don't pay attention to your finances, you're gonna be broke. Yeah. And you're gonna be in the dark with no place to live. So you have to manage that. You have to manage the relationships with your families. That's interpersonal skills. So managing your personal life is just like managing a business. So Sharifah, now my next question to you is this. So now I know that you have, along with your talk shows, you also have a book.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the book.
Bam! I like that. Yes. Signs you might be an entrepreneur, how to discover the entrepreneur in you. And the reason, not that you asked, but the reason I wrote this book was because people would tell me things like they say, oh, well, I know I'm an entrepreneur because I hate working. Oh, I know I'm an entrepreneur because I don't like my boss. Oh, I know I'm an entrepreneur because I always, like to not go to work, and all these different things that had absolutely nothing to do with being an entrepreneur. And so I said, okay, well, what really is an entrepreneur? Like, out of all the entrepreneurs that what are some of the key characteristics and key traits that you see in entrepreneurs? And especially when I look at serial entrepreneurs, everybody will tell you it's more of a calling. Right? Like, that's the key thing. It's like they're passionate about what they're doing. They love what they're doing and they can't stop it if they want to. So I just outlined different ways that if you would like to be an entrepreneur, you can become a successful entrepreneur. And I take them through the steps of becoming an entrepreneur. And I just want to help people. It comes from my passion of wanting to help people, because I always say, not only do I help people to make money, I help people to save money. Because so often when people start a business or start a website, they don't know. You know what I mean? Somebody could tell them they have to pay $10,000 for website hosting, and they're like, okay, I gotta have a host, so let me pay $10,000. I'm like, well, I could got you that at down the street for $5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they don't know, and so they need someone that they can trust to ask those questions of. And so ask Sharifah.
That's good. Hey, Sabrina, thank you for joining us. So we have a question. Any suggestions for business during the pandemic to create revenue streams? So I'll share my input, and then Sharifah, you share yours. So I think one of the biggest things right now during the pandemic is that we are blessed not only with time, but because everybody is home now. People that you wanted to meet, people that you wanted to collaborate with, people that you wanted to connect with, now is the time to connect with those people. Mm-hmm. Now is the time to really create, digital offerings that creates revenue. Now is the time to do virtual networking. Virtual networking will help you create revenue. Virtual networking will help you get people in the pipeline. Virtual networking will show you how you can bid for RFPs and you can get bigger opportunities. So I think that's another way to get revenue. But I also think that, one of the things that to do is that if you have a product or a service, that is, you show up every day with it. Mm-hmm. Because people are spending during the pandemic. Ask me how I know. Because I'm selling jewelry, I'm selling services, and I'm selling books, and people are purchasing during the pandemic. And so I am a believer that as long as you show up every single day, you show up as the talent, and when you believe in what you offer and you are marketing to your ideal client, because I am a person who believes that, I'd rather have the gift of time. To me, time means more than money. So my ideal clients, they like their time back. So if I can create a digital offering or a product that's going to help them save time somewhere in their schedule, that's what's going to generate revenue.
Yes. I think I can almost copy and paste everything that you said. The number one question I'm asked is, what is the one business that is guaranteed to make you successful? And my answer is always the business you're willing to do day in and day out, right? So even in a pandemic, for years, for the last 20, 30 years, there have been online businesses. My first business was an online boutique, an online gift store that Tom Bosley from the Happy Days used to pitch, SMC. And so I started this gift store. Businesses, affiliate programs, products, servicing, drop shipping. It's so easy to start a business. You can Google it. It really hasn't changed. What happens now is more people are realizing that they can work from home. So when I always recommend somebody starts a business, find the things you're passionate about. Find the things that you love doing. Find the things that you would want to do all day, every day, and then take some business courses. Because so often what happens is people get passionate about a business. Like, for instance, if I love riding motorcycles, just because I love motorcycles, I love the way I look on them with the little helmet and the little jacket, it doesn't mean I know how to operate a motorcycle business, right? I could love to dance, but doesn't mean that I can operate a dance studio. So no matter what your passion is, I always recommend taking some type of business classes. If you don't want to take a course, go to college, all of that, that's fine. But at the minimum, take an accounting course. Now, accounting course, now people will say, well, I have an accountant. My accountant does all of that. Okay, but how do you know your accountant is doing the correct thing? Every aspect of your business, you should be able to operate. You hire the people in place to be able to do the job, but you should know how to do everyone's job. That's, my primary focus. So I think as far as creating revenue streams, you can diversify and go into a million different businesses. They're all, working right now, but just find the one thing that you love to do.
Yeah, and LinkedIn is offering tons of free courses.
Yes.
Tons of free courses. So, Sharifah, you are a what I call a multi-entrepreneur. This is wear several hats. Now, time management is key. Mm-hmm. So walk us through, what do you do to manage your time into all these different pieces?
Oh, that's an easy question. Thank you for that one. I do absolutely nothing. That's how I manage my time. I don't do anything, right? I go to the beach. I lay on the beach in my bikini and enjoy my life.
Are you out there in your bikini?
That's right. I'm out there in my bikini doing nothing. But it's funny because I tell people I literally get paid to play on social media. And so what that means is that the reason I have the Roundtable Talk Show weekdays at 8 a.m. is because I know I have to get up and do that show. So I get up and do the show, and then the rest of my day is free. Now, the reason I do that, aside from all the joking, because I'm not at the beach in a bikini, but I have to be available for my clients. That's the whole Ask Sharifah model, the Ask Sharifah brand, because so often my clients get to a certain point and they're like, I don't know what to do. And so they pick up the phone. Sharifah, what did we do? And I'm like, okay, let me help people. And so if I wasn't available, or if my schedule was so packed that I couldn't be of service to people, then I wouldn't be successful and my business wouldn't thrive. So all I have is on my schedule every day, unless someone as lovely as yourself invites me to be on your show, I love to keep my day open so that I can be available to everyone.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, put them in the comment section so we can answer your question. So how does it feel being on the other side? Because
I love it.
you're the one asking the questions. Like,
Yes.
how does that feel?
I love it. I mean, I love to help. You know what I mean? And if there's something that you want to know, something your audience wants to know, I love to be able to tell my stories and share my stories. I mean, people don't understand this, Bridgett, but I share so much of my story because I tell everybody, you cannot tell me that there's a reason why you can't be successful. I don't care who you are. You can't tell me if you have one arm, if you homeless, whatever it is. There's no reason under the sun that can stop you from being successful. I have been divorced twice. I have been homeless. I have lost everything I've owned aside from the clothes that I physically had on my body, laid off 8 times, raised 2 kids, and that's just the highlights of the things that have happened in my life. So I went through all of that just so I can empathize and have compassion for other people. But my compassion ends when somebody tells me, oh, well, I was a victim of domestic violence, so I can never be anything. I'm like, okay, well, let me go to one of my talk shows and let me send you the link to an interview of someone who has gone through domestic violence and now they're the CEO of their own company. So I don't excuses, none of that. There's no excuse that you can tell
Wow.
me or that you can give me that I will believe that because of that, you can't be successful. Like if you try to tell me you couldn't be successful because you're a Black woman, Bridgett, come on. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that people try to tell. Oh, I'm just a Black woman. I'm just no, no. That
Wow.
won't work with me.
Wow. Your story is powerful.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow. 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 So I think, when you say laid off 8 times, I think about 8, the new beginnings. I think about that. And I also think about sharing, that you were divorced twice, because I'm a firm believer that you have to own your story. And when you own your story, that is when you are able to move forward. And I think that that's critical to being successful is actually owning your story, which means that I control the narrative.
Yeah.
I control what happens next. I'm the person who writes the next chapter. So I think that's key. So now, I love the fact that you said you don't do nothing. You keep yourself available. And that's really good because that speaks not only to your business model, but it speaks to who you are. So now tell me, what can we expect from you in 2020? Because, my business coach told us 2020 is not canceled. And I believe that 2020 is not canceled. What else can we expect from you in 2020?
Well, I think with 3 talk shows, a book, entrepreneurs, speaking engagements. I don't know what more I can do, but one of the things that is my primary focus for 2020 is uniting the world. Like that's like I have to bring unification to our communities, bring the Black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, everybody together. That's my primary focus. Every time I see some injustice or discussions about race, and the person says this or that, I'm like, well, let's talk about it. Let's have this conversation. So I want to be a unifying factor in all of our racial unrest and issues that are going on with America. So that is part of my passion. But then the other aspect is I would love to create or help create 1 million entrepreneurs, because to me, it was part of why I ran for Long Beach City Council. People do not understand that small businesses are the heart of America.
Yeah.
And what happens if your heart stops? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the obvious,
What
question.
happens if your heart stops? That's good.
But that's true. That's true. So I try to help people understand that a lot of what we're dealing with right now, even the civil unrest, is a direct result of people not having enough money, enough to eat. They're not earning enough. When you have college professors, adjunct professors who are on EBT and getting food stamps in order to be able to survive, that's a problem. Right? So when you have so many people who are not earning a living wage, that's a problem. And what's going to happen is if you don't feed the people, that's why I'm so interested. Like I am here waiting with bated breath to see what's going to happen on July 31st, if they're going to extend this $600 and give a second stimulus check, because I'm interested, because I really believe that people are going to eat. Either you're going to feed them or they gonna figure out how they gonna get it themselves. So I'm like, I want to see, is the government gonna sign that check, or you gonna leave people to figure out what they need to do to survive? So I definitely see them extending the July 31st second stimulus as well as the $600 because people need help right now. And they can use that money and that resources to create businesses. That's what we need. If you have a high poverty rate, you also have a high unemployment rate. They always match. They always match, right? Because I always tell people, hungry people steal. People who are full and happy,
People steal.
they do.
That's good. That's
They
good.
do. They do. And that's my, if a person is happy, a person is satisfied, a person is loving their life and enjoy, why are they going to go out and commit crime? But when you have your wife and your kids looking at you, because people ask me, like, why did you really start all this? I said, because my kids kept looking at me and they were like, Mommy, we're hungry. And I was like, got to figure it out. Got to feed these kids.
Hungry
right?
People steal.
Hungry people steal. So you have to feed the people and allow the people to be able to maintain and sustain themselves, or the people are going to resort, the people are going to resort to their own decisions and choices.
Wow. So, wow. I'm stuck on that. The hungry people steal. That was
It's
good.
the truth, though. I tell people I'm in California, but I'm a simple country girl. I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
I love to keep things down to the basics. Hungry people steal.
Wow. So recently, the first part of this year, I created a diversity and inclusion pillar within my company. Mm-hmm. And so I started facilitating what we call brave conversations in the community for the Women's Resource Center. And so BRAVE stands for bold, relevant, authentic, valuable, and educational. And so one of the things I learned from another diversity professional, she was sharing this with me, and I thought it was so powerful. When she would facilitate her conversation, she would say, "What color is your heart today?" Mm-hmm. And to me, that was so powerful because when you said that small businesses are, the heart. And so I thought about, during everything that happened, I would ask myself some days, like, what color is your heart? Like some days my heart would be gray because I'm not sad, but I don't know how to feel. And then some days my heart would be black because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what is happening to our country? But I'm finally now moving to the red. I've always had love in my heart because of the love of Christ. But it took me a minute to get back to where my heart was just, overflowing with the red. So I ask you today, Sharifah, what color is your heart today?
What are the options? Like, do I get a list of colors that match? My heart is always red. I'm always giving love. That's the Aries in me. I'm an infant. I love to love. I love to give. I love to help people. And I'm usually pretty happy most of the time. It's very rare that I get down or dark or gray or anything like that. And that really comes from my upbringing. My parents didn't allow any of that feeling sorry for yourself. My dad was known for saying, if you're going through this, then you got to think about the man with no legs. And then when you think about the man with no legs, you got to think about the man with no arms. And by the time my dad finished the story, the man would just be a nub, you know what I mean? That couldn't go anywhere. But the whole point that he would always make to me was no matter what your situation is, there's always someone whose their situation is worse.
Mm-hmm. So when everything happened, with George Floyd, so I have two nephews. And so one of them is 12 and then the other one's 18. And then I have a brother. And so, I wanted to have conversations with them as black men about how they were feeling. And I wanted to hear from all of them individually because they're all different ages. Like my 12-year-old nephew, I wanted to hear what he had to say. My 18-year-old nephew. And then my brother, who is 36, I wanted to hear what he had to say. And so during the course of me hearing what they all had to say, it really reminded me, not only do we have a lot of work to do, but it also taught me how to be a listener on a different level. So say, for example, my 12-year-old nephew said that every time he sees the police now, he's like, are they going to hurt somebody? My 18-year-old nephew, when he sees the police now, he gets angry. My brother said that he was mad the whole day. He was mad the whole day when he saw the video of George Floyd. And he said he even got more mad when he got to work and they sent an email and they did not have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And so I was explaining to him that, yes, I would have been upset that they sent an email because I definitely think that it warrants a conversation. However, I also feel like they didn't know what to say. And so I have a lot of white friends. And so all of them were asking me, was I okay? So my question to you now is that, your white friends, did they ask you, were you okay? And what was your response to them?
Interesting question, because that's a question I usually offer and am very rarely asked. So I appreciate you and I honor you for even asking the question, because yes, my white friends were calling me like nonstop. And I've said on 2 different panels, and I have a panel with Chandra Gore on July 24th that we're going to discuss race again. But it's because all of a sudden everyone wanted to talk. And they weren't comfortable having this conversation with just anyone. So they were like, Sharifah, we know we can talk to you. And I was like, yeah, everybody wants to talk. So I did this panel. Actually, I did 2 panels, and they were both interesting in their own right. The first panel was they invited me to be on a panel to discuss race. And so when they said discuss race, and the lady who asked me was a white lady, I was like, oh, we're going to have this conversation, only to find out that it was 4 Black women on the panel. And not only that, but out of the 4 Black women that the white women had on the show, 3 of the people, one of them I was, and then the other 2 people were my Black friends, like that she had met through me. So I was like, she doesn't even have Black friends, and she wanted to talk about race. I'm like, that start there.
Okay, oh yeah, okay, I got it. Okay,
right. But then I'm like, but if you want to discuss race, how can you discuss race with 4 Black people? You have to discuss race with other people, because then basically you're just like a voyeur. That's all you really want to do, is kind of look into my life and see what I feel and see what's going on. So I talked on the panel, I shared some of my views, and I love the opportunity, because I always, I want to heal the world and change the world, but I'm going to need you to cut me my check. I need you to run me my money, right? And that means reparations.
Run your check.
Right. Run me my money. That's reparations, right? So they were like, what can we do? And I was like, you can't give me reparations. You can be nice. You can not be a Karen. That's what you can do. But you don't have the ability to change my life. And so whenever
it's the Instagram page for Karen and Kevin's going wild.
Yes, that's what you could do. You cannot show up on those pages, right? I want to see you in a video. But aside from that, we can have a conversation. But see, I have a lot of white friends. I've always had a lot of white friends, because I went to school in the Valley in Studio City, right? So it's primarily white people. I get along well with white people, but to me, it's not an issue with them. It's the issue with the system. It's systematic racism that we have to focus on. So I'll talk to you all day, but you don't have the ability and the power to change my life. So that was the first panel. And then the second panel that I had, they understood, they got it. And it was about 12 people per se. And it was 4 Black people, two women, and I think 2 men. And then it was some other, it was some white people. So it wound up being a whole lot of people. But they never see me coming, because they don't know what I'm going to say. But this panel, when they asked me to be on the panel about a week prior to the panel. The night before the panel, they emailed me the 20 questions they're going to ask me on this panel. So I had already agreed to do it, but I get this email and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun, right? So I get to the show and they introduced me. And I said, first of all, this is live. I love doing things live because that's who I am. But I said, you sent me these 20 questions. I said, and the first question on there is, what can we do for the African American community? I said, and that question was the only question that even mentioned African Americans. Like 1 out of 20, right? That's a ratio. 1 out of 20 even mentions African Americans. The other 19 questions were, how do we heal the world? How do we make this a better place? And I'm like, look, I don't have the time in my schedule, even though I'm chilling on the beach in my bikini, to sit here and talk to you about kumbaya stuff. Like, if you want to talk to me, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's sit down here face to face, and I'll tell you, what you want to know, but don't waste my time. Now, I didn't say it, I was nice. I'm just being a little bit real with you because I love you and you my girl. But that's the point that I made. Like, if you seriously want to make a difference in the world, let's do it. I bring my whole team, my whole following, everybody, so that we can do it. But don't ask me how we make this world. Oh, well, how do we show more love? Really? Like, you invited me to the panel so I can tell you how to love? Like, no, don't play with me. Don't play with me. And so then one of the ladies asked me, she was like, well, Sharifah, I just want to know. Like, I just want to know what's going on. Like, I just don't know. Like, this is, I never know. I didn't know about racism. So I said, okay. I said, you asked me that question. I said, but then my question is, what part of history do you not know? Like, do you not know about slavery?
What part
Do
of
you not know about the Civil War? Do you not know about Willie Lynch? What is it that you don't know so I can clue you in on it? But when you just say that I don't know about the race issues in America, that is where I go, okay, well, I guess let me go down the history of the things that have happened to Black people.
Wow.
Did that answer your question, Bridgett? She's like, that's more than I expected.
That was good, because all my mind, I kept thinking, because I did have a conversation with someone who told me that they don't see color. Mm-hmm. And I said, when you tell me that you don't see color, that's offensive to me. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't see color, that means you don't see me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I need you to see color. I am proud of my culture. I'm proud to be a Black woman. I need you to see color. So after I kind of explained that to her, then she was like, okay, that makes sense. So, having these conversations are definitely necessary. Let me see if we got any questions. Anybody got any questions? Don't be shy. Ask us any questions, whether or not it is about our current social justice, as well as questions around starting a business, or questions around growing your business, or questions around your social media strategy. Because Sharifah has given us this whole social media strategy that everybody should have some followers after tonight. Okay,
you should. Everybody. I mean, if you talk about your business, you have to talk in order for people to respond. And I always say my rule of thumb is that you can post 2 personal. Basically, you don't want to post an advertisement sooner than every 3rd post. So if you do 2 personal posts, then you can do a business post. But you don't want to just do business on your social media, because social media is about socializing. People want to talk. They want to get to know you. They don't want to feel like you just put in links after links after links after links. Now, I just want to go back real quick to what we were discussing as far as race. This is so important for all of us to have this conversation and have it honestly and openly so people can understand. Because one of the things that people miss, and to me, I really feel like this is more Black people than white people, but that they miss that slavery was never about race. There were white slaves before there were Black slaves. What happened was the white slaves ran away and they couldn't tell that they were slaves. So whoever it was, the powers that be, came up with this decision that we're going to find people who you would know they were slaves by the color of their skin. So they could never hide. They could never blend into a crowd. If you were Black, you were a slave. But they weren't at that point too particular about who was a slave. They just wanted to make people do the work so that they can make the money. So again, it goes down to economics. People think that a lot of times racist people look at you and like, I just hate Black people. No, it's not. It comes down to money and finances. And you will see that some of the most racist people are also the poorest people. Right? Because all they have to hold on to is that white skin. That's the only thing in their mind that makes them better than you. But it's because of finances more than just because somebody looks and like, I don't like Sharifah because she's Black. Mm-hmm. But me succeeding as a Black person can affect how much money they have ability to make. And they don't want me, the little Black woman, or you, to come into that space and take in their mind what's theirs.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Hey, Erica. Erica is my co-chair for. We started a diversity consortium. I have to send you the link so that you can join our consortium. Hey, Erica White, and hey, Brianna. Thanks for joining us. But yes, you hit the nail on the head. It is about race. It is about race and finances. That's what I mean.
Yes.
It's about finances.
And we have to get our
Finances.
finances up so that we can stand on our own.
Yes, it's about finances, and it's not about statements
Mhm.
because we've seen a plethora of statements.
Yes.
We've seen statement after statement after statement. So, but I am glad to see that some of the digital presentations in the fashion industry that they are starting to be diversified, and I'm also glad to see that in the fashion industry they are having diversity conversations. So, I think that we are. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm not convinced to say we're making progress yet, but I will say that we are having conversation.
That's what matters.
I would say that, yeah, because I feel like we
That's
have
what
a long
matters.
way to go, and I feel like that we just have to make sure that everybody go out and vote in November. Vote. If I can say it again, make sure you vote. But I think that's key. Oh my God! So Sharifah, you said that you could give to anybody watching today, anything they could apply to their life after watching this episode, after hearing you talk today. If there is anything that you want to gift the world and to give to our viewers who are watching, what would those words be?
I'm gonna give you two that I
Okay,
live
go
by, right?
ahead.
The two that I live by are all things work together for the good for those that love the Lord. All things, not some things, but all things. So when I went through everything that I went through, I understood that at some point it was going to work to my good. So always, no matter what, COVID, whatever, there's still a blessing in every curse. So wherever you are right now, just understand that that situation somehow, some way is working towards your good. That's the number one thing that I live by. The second thing that I live by, it is that it is done unto you as you believe. So whatever you have manifested, whatever you have created is based upon your belief. Your job, your career, your mate, your finances, whatever is going on in your life, you have invited it in, you can invite it in out. So turn around and look and see if your life represents the life that you truly want to have. And if not, start making changes and live the life that you truly believe that you deserve. And you can. And so that's the main thing that I would love to leave people with.
Wow, Sharifah, I'm so glad we got a chance to connect and catch up.
It was wonderful.
Tell everybody how they can connect with you.
At Sharifah.com.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please log on to AskSharifah.com so that you can follow Sharifah, follow her talk show, follow her on Instagram, connect with her. She gave you some very vital information tonight, especially to grow your social media following and just some good practical business advice. So I hope that you have enjoyed us connecting today. I feel like we had a reunion.
I know, it's great.
Yeah, because I've been on your show twice, so I'm
Yes.
so glad.
So that means I gotta come back. Like maybe
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
Sometime.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll do like a business roundtable or something.
That would be great. That would be great. I would love
that.
that.
Entrepreneurs.
I would love
Somebody
it.
put in the comments. Thank Erica. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody put in the comments. Let me know if you want to have like a round table where I
Yes.
pull together, some more entrepreneurs, and we just have some good conversation. And you know what? We could actually do some virtual business makeovers. We can give people some just do it's right then. We can go to their social media while we're online. We gotta have something to give away. Erica, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And Brianna, thank you for hanging out. Hey Shannon. Hey Shannon. Kevin said it was awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. So to my viewers tonight, I want to ask you all a question before me and Sharifah cheers it up. What color is your heart? If someone will put it in the comment section, what color is your heart? So today my heart is red. So let's see what our viewers say. What color is their heart? What color is your heart? Let's see what people say. Sharifah, you got your coffee because we're gonna cheers it up.
I got it. I've been sitting here sipping, enjoying it while we been doing the show.
Listen, you know I live.
I think you didn't expect. I'm sure you didn't expect that, Bridget. I know you thought this was going to be a good show, but you will. I'm usually a lot more censored,
No,
as far as what I
I
say.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Erica said today my heart is red. Yes. Terry, what color is your heart today? Erica, what color is your heart? Kevin said his heart is red today. All right, that means we're all sharing love today. We're all sharing love today. Sabrina, what color is your heart today? Let's see who else. What color is your heart? And what color is your heart today? To see what other people have to say. We're all sharing, all of our hearts are red today, which means that we are showing love, which is good because we know that love is what's going to get us through.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah. So before I let you go, have you been cooking?
Today or like in general?
In general, since COVID, Shakila said her heart is red.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know what I mean? I suffer.
You haven't been cooking during COVID-19?
No, I have too much to do. I spend a lot of time on the phone. So I am the people who know me know I'm the queen of the delivery. Like everything, my laundry is delivered, my food is delivered, everything is delivered. So I work all day, talk on the phone all day, meetings every day, Zooms all day, and then I Postmates, Uber, bring all my favorite dishes. Mm-hmm. Yep. I know you're laughing at me, but let me just tell you this. Bridget. My kids are 23 and 26, right?
Okay.
So I used to cook a lot, but then I suffered from empty nest syndrome. And so I was like, now I just kind of grab something. My house used to be that house where all the kids on the block hung out. And then everybody graduated and I'm like here by myself. So I don't do as much cooking as I used to, but now I can order from the best restaurants and enjoy my food though.
Ooh, I love it. So everybody says their heart is red. That's good.
Yay!
That's good. We're all sharing love. Sharifah, thanks for hanging out with me today.
You're
So at
welcome.
the end of every episode of Coffee with Bridget, we cheers it up. So to all of our viewers, thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure you come back next Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And here's my surprise, because I did post earlier, I have a surprise. So next week, you're getting 2 episodes of Coffee with Bridget.
Yay!
Next week, we are having Monique Rodriguez, who is the CEO of Mayel Organics, the natural hair care, which you will find in Target. I think you will find her. She's in all the big box stores. So she's going to be sharing her entrepreneurship journey and giving you some hair care tips and so much more. So next week, you're getting 2 episodes of Coffee with Bridget. 2 episodes. So I am super happy. Super happy. Yes, super happy. So thank you. Oh, Terry, look at what Terry said. Terry said, I'm not mad at you. Focus on what's important to you. Absolutely, Terry. I love myself some Terry. Absolutely. Absolutely. This was good. So I'm so glad to have you hang out with me.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, and we will definitely do it again. You got your cup.
Cheers.
Everybody watching, you got your cup. All right. Cheers. Until the next time, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye now.